Hey, what is going on? Hope everyone had an amazing week. Welcome to episode 210 of Outside The Chute. I'm your host, Randy Frame. This week, man, we get a story that feels like it was written for a movie. From dominating high school softball in Arkansas and being named the 2019 Gatorade Player of the Year for the state, to starting her college career at Notre Dame, to facing a medical scare that forced her to miss the entire 2021 season, and then fighting her way back, transferring to Texas and becoming a national champion in 2025. This isn't just a championship story. It's a resilience story. It's a growth story. It's a what do you do when the game gets taken away from you story. Today, we sit down with Rosebud, Arkansas native Joley Mitchell to talk about where it all started, her journey to college, what she learned during her toughest year off the field, and what it felt like to stand on top of the sport after everything she went through. If you love softball, if you love comeback stories, if you love hearing what it really takes to win at the highest level, you're going to love this one. Now, before we get to it, make sure to drop a comment in the show and give us some sort of rating, preferably something good, of course. You can follow Joley on Instagram at the best handle on the planet, at Holy Moly, It's Joley. Told you it's awesome. We're at Outside The Chute on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. If you have a YouTube account, please go subscribe to our channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, but we need your help. Anyways, let's get to this amazing episode. This is Outside The Chute, and anything goes.
I got the world in my palm, like camera action, it's on. I can't describe what I'm feeling, ain't never felt this freedom. I got the world in my palm, like camera action, it's on. Ain't never felt this freedom. Could you say that anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes.
All right, here we go. We are happy to have on with us today 2025 All-SEC First Team Selection, 2025 Women's College World Series All-Tournament Team Selection, where she helped the Texas Longhorns capture their first national title, and the owner of the best Instagram handle on this planet. Holy moly, everybody. It's the one and only Joley Mitchell. Joley, thanks so much for coming on the pod.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited for today.
How was that for an intro?
That was pretty good. I'm glad that somebody brought up the handle because I came up with it when I was in the 8th grade.
Really?
And for like a month, I thought, you know what? There's no way people are going to think this is funny. But pretty much the entire time I was in college, people would just call me Holy Moly if they saw me out in public.
It's the best.
Thank you.
I'm so happy like you got it so early too, because there's so many Joleys out there in the world that
Exactly.
Why wouldn't they take that handle? Like, come on.
Right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So how's things going down in the booming metropolis of Rosebud, Arkansas today?
Kind of just back to my roots. Being in Austin and being in South Bend for a few years, you get out, you get to explore the world, and you get to travel and play softball. But my heart is set here in the countryside. So I love where I live. I'm proud of where I'm from, and I'm happy to be here. Nice.
Yeah, I'm a country boy too. I like the wilderness. It's I grew up in. I'd say there were about close to 500 people in the village I grew up in, and I think that's close to what Rosebud is, isn't it?
Yes, about 492.
Yep, there you go, close to 500.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's different. Everybody knows everybody, and it's just it's a great lifestyle.
Sometimes, unless they know too much about you.
True. That is true. Yeah, some things might not be good, but either way. So what's been on the go since last season ended?
Yeah, I think for me personally, after the season was going to be over, I was a little bit worried about finding my identity. And I think that many athletes nowadays talk about that. I know that Brie Ellis has shared her personal struggles and her thoughts on, not being able to be a D1 collegiate athlete anymore. And so it's about finding who you are as a person. And me, of course, I feel like I've never just had time to sit down and, read a book or read my Bible or find out who I am as a person. What do I enjoy outside of softball? And I remember people used to ask me, like, what are your hobbies? Well, I didn't have hobbies because I was so busy doing softball all the time since I was a 5-year-old that, I just had to explore who I was. And so not having to be somewhere or be at weights at 6:30 every morning is actually really nice and comforting. And this is how life was supposed to be. I just got to experience something really fun while I was still young and something that I love so dearly.
Right on. Yeah. Yeah. Not getting up that early would be fantastic.
It's so nice.
I bet. Well, before we get on to your career, we're going to do a little thing that we like to kick off the podcast with. I call it quick pitches. I'm going to throw out some random questions to you, and you answer them as best you can. They're easy, so don't worry.
Okay.
First one that I always start with, if you had to live off one meal for a week, what would it be?
Oh, chicken Parmesan. That's my favorite of all time.
Nice. That's a good one. Biggest thing you miss about University of Texas?
Oh, this is so bad. Probably going to Bird Biscuit before practice sometimes. Or Dutch Bros coffee every single day with my teammate Sophia Simpson.
Okay, what's this biscuit place we're talking about?
Okay, so Bird Biscuit. It's the most massive, the most delicious fried chicken biscuit you've ever had in your entire life. It is delightful, and every time I go there, I have to get one. That is a non-negotiable. And then obviously, for some people, they know Dutch Bros, and Dutch Bros, they have just like the large coffee is like a 32-ounce coffee. So it actually fulfills my caffeine intake for the day, and I could stay awake all day long.
Okay, wow. That's pretty big. I've actually, to this day, never had a drink of coffee in my life.
Good for you, because now I'm addicted, and if I don't drink it every single day, I have a headache, and it's not a habit I can break at this point.
I've heard that from people. I've heard that. If you could go anywhere in the world on vacation, where would it be?
Back to Sorrento, Italy. That is easily one of the best days of my life, besides winning a natty. That's probably the best day of my life. We went out on the boat and, circled a couple islands out in the ocean, saw the Dolce & Gabbana house on the island of Capri. Best day of my life. Nice.
That's my bucket list. Italy is on my bucket list.
It is the most beautiful place on earth. I don't care if anybody wants to, debate me on that. That's the most beautiful place ever.
Right on. How's the food? I've heard the food's amazing.
Oh, it was so good. And of course, you walk the whole week and you eat pasta and you eat pizza and you eat gelato 3 times a day, all day long. And you're walking. And so you lose like 10 pounds while you're there for a week. It's wonderful.
That works perfect. Wow.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Next one here, 2-parter, I guess. Favorite uniform color combo first at Notre Dame?
Okay. I'm going to have to go with the scrolls. Well, okay, scrolls and green. I love the scrolls because the gold script on the sleeves was just, actually saw a picture of it today. And not only that, it's hanging up in my room. That's my favorite one. And then obviously green, like green's tradition. When I was there, we had to earn it. So when we earned it, is like, hey, we had a good week.
Oh, really?
But yeah, yes, all the uniform combos that I had when we were there were pretty amazing. I loved all of our uniforms.
Yeah, that's a good way to, entice you to get another uniform to throw in the mix. Is if you win, you get this. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And of course, uniform color combo at Texas.
I'm gonna have to say the cream pinstripes.
Yeah, those are sharp.
Yeah, those are pretty sharp.
Yeah. I do. I like the burnt orange ones too. They're
the solid colors.
Yeah,
I like them because they made me look really good.
That's what matters, right?
Yeah.
There. Best walk-up song you've used?
Oh, "Fuel" by Metallica. Easy.
Oh, what a song!
I'm a hard rock girl at heart. That's what I listen to pretty much every day while I'm in the car, no matter the time of day, no matter the mood. And so I'd actually started with Wherever I May Roam. And then I thought, I need something harder. And then somebody suggested Fuel to me. And so I stuck with Fuel the whole time I was at Texas.
Nice. I'm obsessed with Unforgiven and Until It Sleeps.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
So good. Metallica's so good. Oh,
so amazing.
Great choice. If you could go back and play one game over again, which one is it?
Ooh, I'm going to have to, probably the OU game at the World Series this past year. That was the most emotionally taxing day of my career after Tegan's grandma had passed.
Right.
I think I took it harder than pretty much everybody else did combined. But our team really bonded together, and Tegan just pitched probably the most amazing game I've seen her pitch in person. And so to be a part of that was very special.
No doubt. We'll get into that World Series run. That was phenomenal. 2 more here. If you could have dinner with 3 people, living or dead, who would they be?
Oh no, I've never thought of this.
This one's tough.
Okay, I'm going to have to say Coach Steve Singleton. I know that's like not a celebrity, but he is seriously the most genuine person when it comes to softball. And I've kept in touch with him after he left to go to Cal. And he's always rooting for me. I'm always rooting for him. He's always in my corner. So I definitely want him at my table anytime. Mm-hmm. I guess with singers, I'm going to have to go George Strait.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's I know I'm kind of going all over the place here.
It's all good.
And then I probably would also say maybe Alan Jackson. I don't know. They seem like we would just get each other. So to have those 2 at my table with Sing would probably just be a party.
Sing would be like, what's going on here?
Yeah, he'd be so confused and like, I don't fit here. Yeah, but he'd have a good time.
Oh, it'd be great. Yeah, it'd definitely be great. Last one here. Best thing to eat at Grumpy's Getaway.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, the onion rings with the red pepper sauce. That's a must. And normally I get the breakfast scramble with gravy on top.
Okay.
That's my number 1 meal there.
Okay. All right. I actually went through the menu and I was looking at it. I was like, and the pictures, I was like, okay, this all looks good. This all looks okay. I got a question though.
Yeah.
What's possum pie?
Okay, I'm not a big pie person. So don't quote me on this.
Okay.
There's got to be I think there's chocolate and Oreo. I don't really remember. I think I maybe have had it one time back in high school. Okay. So probably 10 years ago. Okay.
All right. Well, that's good to know. I was thinking something totally different. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I have no idea. I should have just said I don't know and moved on.
All right. I got a question as far as Grumpy's go. I noticed, doing my research, I dive deep into this, and especially with Rosebud. Did they lose any business when Sonic came to town a couple years ago, or what?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't
Grumpy,
think.
The family that owns it, my mom actually taught with the owner. And so she's had several restaurants in the area. So she's got a really good reputation of keeping a fantastic staff. And of course, everybody knows everybody. So my waitress is, her mother is the one who babysat me when I was a child. So, it's just family stuff. And I swear if it's open, you can't get in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah, that's what you want. That's what makes a restaurant a good restaurant. Definitely. So I'm getting off topic here. So
no, it's okay.
Was it a big deal when Sonic came to town or
kind of. I mean, we had to drive 10 minutes to the nearest Sonic. So I think for some people it was a good idea. But I mean, just a place to hang out, I'm sure.
True enough. All right, let's get to your career here. Let's we're gonna go back. Let's go back to the beginning. Tell us how little Joley got her start in the game.
My friends were playing, and I'm such a social butterfly. I didn't even realize it when I was a kid. So I get to kindergarten, and of course in Rosebud, immediately you just have to kind of start making friends because you're going to grow up with these people. Right. And my kindergarten bestie, she's still one of my closest friends today, Gracie. Gracie was a part of this team called Magic Softball. And Magic Softball, back in the day, we were top dog. We were unmatched. We were such a good team. So I start going to these Magic practices, and the girls are all from Rosebud. And so I start going to practicing with the team, and I am not good. And I'm pretty sure Holly Rowe picked up on this when she talked with my mom at the World Series that my dad just wanted to hunt and fish. And I really don't blame him because my skill level was trash as a 5-year-old. So my mom came home one day after practice and she said, "She sucks." And my dad said, "What do you want me to do about it?" And so my dad is a very competitive person, and he was my coach from the time I started till the time I finished. And he went to practice one day and he said, "Okay, I can't have my kid playing like this. This is bad." So we got after it. And probably by the end of the first fall, I guess I've been playing almost a year, I was in the starting lineup, and I eventually made the travel team with Magic and was traveling by the end of that summer. So that's how I got my kickstart. I just wanted to, be with my friends more often than just being at school all day.
Nice. Love for it right away, or did that come over time?
I think it was an overtime thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember much, but I think once I started realizing that I was athletic and I was, actually pretty good at it and I got to play all the time, I think it's just a natural thing. Even when you're like me, 24, and you get to play all the time and you do well, it's just much more enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. So I guess at what age did you realize, I'm really good at this?
I never thought of college ball. I mean, we had gone to Razorback games and we had watched it on TV a couple times, but I never thought that I was, college level. I was never put in a position to think that. I never was really looking into it or interested. And I actually had picked up to go play with Jersey Intensity when I was 12, I believe. I was 12 and I went to play out at PGF that year. And so I guess that's 2013. I went to play out PGF that year and I got tons of phone calls immediately. And so I thought, maybe this is a goal of mine. And of course, the older you get, the better you are at a more national stage than just the Rosebud stage. That's on your bucket list now. So I decided that that's something I wanted to work towards.
Nice. Did you play any other sports growing up?
I played basketball a little bit, peewee. But I will say I was kind of a monster as a child. So I played third grade and sixth grade, and I was pretty much bigger than everybody. And then I played seventh grade basketball in junior high. And after that, which of course back then, that's when I was getting recruited. So I decided that softball was going to be the sport that I was going to stick with. And so I decided to go ahead and go to camps in the wintertime instead of being on the basketball court.
Nice.
And then in high school, I did throw and run a little bit of track up until I was a junior. And then I just decided that probably wasn't in the cards anymore for me. And then just stuck to softball after that.
Right on. So I guess walk us through those high school and travel ball days. Any big moments stick out to you?
I think with travel ball, for me, starting to play exposure ball, and I was playing for a team out of New Jersey. So I met girls from New Jersey. We had teammates from Florida, from Georgia, Alabama, Missouri, Tennessee. They were all over the place. And so when I think of travel ball, when I was growing up, it was just about making friends. And I still talk to those friends, all the time. Congratulating me on winning a national championship was like a full circle moment. They're saying like, you did it. And I was, that was the dream team. No, we did it. You guys were part of my journey and you made it enjoyable. Because if you don't have a really great environment to be around, you don't want to be a part of it. So they cultivated that for me. And I appreciated that out of them, of course. And I'll always tell them that. With high school, I set quite a few records. So I, sometimes I look in the book, it might be a little bit, cocky to do that, but sometimes I like to look in the record book and see home runs, runs in a season, batting average, those types of things, and then of course winning 2 state championships with my team in high school.
Definitely, yeah, that would have been that would have been amazing, actually.
Yeah,
definitely. So I guess that your senior season in high school, of course, winning Gatorade Player of the Year in Arkansas. How special was that for you?
I think it was. It's a pretty monumental moment for me. I think, years before I was a contender and I just didn't get it. So I thought, what can I do more often now that could get me this GPOY? So I think focusing on who I was as a person and then still just sticking to the softball. I wasn't concerned about how I was going to perform as a player, but as a person, it was more important to me at that point. Yeah. So I was really thrilled that was the last thing that I got honored with before I stepped into South Bend.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the recruiting process because what was it? Why Notre Dame? What drew you there?
Again, my wonderful New Jersey teammates. So Coach Kev O'Donnell, his daughter Brittany played at Notre Dame. And I think that kind of set his love for Notre Dame. And she, of course, had a wonderful experience while she was there. And he pipelined a bunch of us to Notre Dame. So I had, I believe, 4 or 5 teammates that I played with in club ball. We all ended up on the team at the same time at Notre Dame.
I saw that. So, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I was originally committed to Mizzou, and that was in 8th grade. And with Coach E, leaving and all of those things, it just wasn't the right choice for me anymore. So I decided that I wanted to decommit, and Notre Dame had been very interested, and they were always calling to check up on me, my family. And I I decided that was probably going to be the best decision for me. I was a little hesitant because I'm not a Catholic, but I decided that it was too beautiful and it would be too fun to not be with my club teammates.
Yeah. So how was the visit? Visit went like,
I fell in love.
Yeah.
As soon as I stepped on campus, I immediately fell in love. And my closest friend from club ball, Karina, I was just on the phone with her like a few days ago. And we always giggle because she's like, you came because I coerced you. And she's actually 100% right. I went to a hitting camp with her one summer. We were playing at the DeMarini tournament in Chicago, and we drove over to South Bend, and we biked around campus, and I saw the Golden Dome. And once you see the Golden Dome in person, you're just kind of stupid not to want to be a part of that for 4 years.
Oh, I imagine it. Like, I watched Rudy. Of course, everybody's watched Rudy. And I mean, you see the campus and everything. Like, oh, wow, I would love to just step foot on there, just to walk around and just take everything in. I mean, and for you to do that for 4 years, that must have been just phenomenal.
And, I think a lot of us have talked about it after that we kind of take it for granted. I mean, of course, we're grinding. I was there during COVID. Academics are extremely hard. And then being a softball player, we're not even close to the dome. We're at the total opposite side of campus. We can't even see it if we just look that direction. So, most of the time we're grinding. We're focusing on the next thing we're trying to do instead of, stepping outside and sitting in front of it and looking at it. But when you take grad pictures, you're taking it all in, and it's kind of a teary-eyed thing. It's such a beautiful moment, and you're a part of something that's so special. When you say, oh, I graduated from Notre Dame, people will double take. They'll turn and they want to know more.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, obviously you've had to have gone to football games there. What's that environment like?
They're so insane. They are great. Like, listen, Austin is a different place. DKR is wonderful, and it has nothing on Notre Dame Stadium. There's no way that you could even top it. And every game was just crazy. And I was there for Clemson during COVID, and I was there for Clemson after that. Wow. There were so many moments that, like, probably top 10, I bet half of them are on a football day. I mean, it is insane. And the football is always great. And of course, the tailgating is the best part.
I imagine.
I mean, 80,000 people in one parking lot. I mean, that's insane.
Oh, I'm so jealous right now. Oh, that'd be so great.
You have to go.
Oh, I would love to. I'm going to put that on the bucket list as well, besides Italy. So I guess you get there. What was, so I guess, what's the biggest adjustment, from high school star to college freshman, I guess?
I think, culture was very different. You meet a bunch of kids from, New York, and their parents work in finance, and you meet even people from out of the country, and they're your roommate. You end up with a random roommate your first year. So you're meeting these people that you have totally different backgrounds, and how am I going to try to fit in? I think at Notre Dame, the special part about it is you don't have to fit in. You all find your little niche and you just go with it. So my roommate was from South Bend. She actually could walk to her house from main building, which is the Dome. And so, meeting her, and backgrounds are totally different. They hear I'm from Arkansas. And of course, I had a really thick accent back then. So they would, giggle anytime I'd say something, or try to, like, do you live on a farm, or do you have cows? And I don't. I live, like, just in a normal house in a normal town. It's not like I'm, out in the middle of nowhere and I have no idea what's going on. Clearly, because I'm here for a reason. But I think culture shifting was a huge thing for me. But once you get the hang of that, I mean, you meet such wonderful people, and people I still talk to daily now that I met freshman weekend. It's just a special place, and you'll meet one of a kind people there.
Nice.
The whole time you're there.
Nice. Is that where Tonk Tonk came from?
That is exactly. How did you find that? Oh my God. That's
I'm
exactly
good. I'm
where
telling
it
you.
came from.
I'm telling you.
I need to know your research methods, because these are amazing.
Oh, as soon as you said the accent was thick, I was like, Tonk Tonk.
Yes, that's exactly where that came from.
Oh, that's amazing. That's awesome. So how'd you like the winters up there? A little different than down in Arkansas?
I hated them.
Oh yeah, I imagine.
Yeah, I hated them. I mean, when you go to single digit temperatures and negative feels like temperatures, it's not the same as when it maybe sleets here once a year, and the lowest it gets down to is maybe 20. So it wasn't my favorite. I was definitely happy to go to Austin.
I imagine you were.
I love the scorching 110 dry heat. I love that place.
No doubt. So I guess, your first year there, of course, what a year for you to start your college career too.
Yeah.
Little thing called the pandemic hits. And so where were you when, you found out the season was done, and what was the team's reaction to it?
So we were actually traveling out in California, and we were, I can't remember, maybe, I don't know. It was somewhere Southern California.
Yep.
And so we had heard, drifts of this virus. Nobody has any idea what it is. And we're kind of just like, we don't, we're just going to keep playing softball until they tell us not to. So we're out in California, and we had gone to practice one morning. We had a hit around, and then the next day was supposed to be a game day. And I believe we were in Santa Barbara, actually. This is just coming to me. So we go to practice, we get warmed up, and it starts raining right at the beginning of this game. And we leave, go back to the hotel, and the next day they're like, we can't, one of our players is sick. And what's interesting is I've heard several stories about this before, where people before the pandemic had gotten this like weird illness and they had no idea what it was. Doctors didn't know what it was. And so pretty much our whole team had it. So we're like, what is happening? We have no clue, and eventually they tell us 2 days later that, ACC is going to discontinue playing for the rest of the season. And, we're on hold for 2 weeks. So we go back to South Bend. And then, of course, they pretty much almost immediately canceled the entire season. Nobody's playing softball for the rest of the spring. And we'll see how it goes from here. So we're all kind of, we're confused. Like, what does this mean for eligibility? Because, it's the middle of March. It's kind of past that point. Are we going to have to go home? And then, of course, they were going to send us home. So we cleaned out dorm rooms, and it was us, swimming, lacrosse, baseball, all the people. And so we were just like, we don't really know what to do. So for a few days, we're hanging out at campus. And then eventually they tell us, okay, like, you guys have to go home. Very weird time, especially just, you're in the thick of becoming a collegiate athlete. And then all of a sudden it stops. And I'm right back here in Rosebud for 6 months.
Yeah. It was so crazy. Like, I've said it on here so many times that, like, it was only it'd be 6 years ago, almost, to the day. Yeah. And it feels like it was 20 years ago now. Like, what I mean? Like, it just weird, such a weird time. And for you, you were a freshman, and I've talked to, seniors on here that, they had no idea what was happening. They thought they were done their college career. Can you remember, like, any of the seniors on the team, like, being pretty emotional? Because I imagine everybody was pretty emotional that, they had no idea. They might have thought their college career was done.
Yeah, it was a tough time for some of our seniors. We actually had a teammate whose mother had passed away in January. And so she had decided that she was going to potentially redshirt or come back later in the season. And so for her, it was that moment of, was it already over? And now it's really, really over. She didn't have that opportunity to come back and join the team. And, we hated it for her. It was just bad timing for everyone. And then it was even worse for her. So that was a big moment for Midge where, she was so deserving of being a catcher and being a part of this team. And she was a light to all of us. And so even in that moment, that wasn't the worst thing that was happening in her life, but it was a moment where the possibility of maybe returning to get all those bad things out of her mind, that wasn't possible anymore. And we didn't know if she was going to return or not.
Right. Yeah. Definitely tough.
Yeah.
But of course you got an extra year out of it. So
exactly.
It worked out for you.
Yeah.
Swing the next evolution of one-piece fast pitch power. The 2026 Easton Ghost Unlimited Fast Pitch Bat. This year's model takes everything hitters loved about the Unlimited and pushes it even further, delivering a hotter, cleaner, and more responsive feel than ever before. With a redesigned double-barrel EXT and a fully optimized handle system, the 2026 Ghost Unlimited is engineered to outperform both prior Ghost Unlimited models with more consistent exit speeds and improved overall barrel response. A key upgrade comes from its optimized handle stiffness, engineered individually for each drop and length. Shorter and lighter sizes feature a slightly softer feel for better control, while longer and heavier sizes unlock a stiffer handle that creates a more powerful connected swing. Compared to the previous Unlimited designs, this fine-tuned handle optimization allows hitters to generate more leverage without sacrificing comfort or feel. The improved double-barrel EXT design delivers even more consistent pop from end to end than past Unlimited barrels, while the Sonic Comp Pro composite brings Easton's lowest compression and most durable one-piece construction yet, resulting in higher performance potential than the previous two Unlimited models, paired with that unmistakable Ghost sound. Combined with the Power Boost soft knob and reduced sting across all sizes, the 2026 Ghost Unlimited offers smoothest, hottest one-piece experience the Ghost lineup has ever produced. Get your 2026 Easton Ghost Unlimited fast pitch bat and feel what happens when refined feel and next-level barrel tech come together to create the most advanced Unlimited yet. Can you walk us through what happened in 2021?
Oh boy. In the nicest and not an hour-long story way, of course.
Right.
Okay, so I'd had this nagging elbow injury for probably 3 or 4 years, definitely training back into high school.
Right.
And I had PRP injections, and, for a while they'd work, and then for a while they wouldn't. So I come home for the fall, which the semesters were shortened, and the Christmas break was about 2 months instead of just the 1 month. So we left around Thanksgiving time, and we were going to come back the middle of January so that we could start practicing. It was actually the day after my 20th birthday. So January 10th of 21, we get back to campus and we start practice. And it just my elbow was bothering me so badly to the point that I didn't feel like I could perform. And my parents were, they're we want you to feel good. And if you can't perform well, you don't need to do that to your team. And I said, I can't miss another year. I already missed a whole one. And so I want to get back right to it. Been practicing really hard. I don't want to take this away from myself. And
was it a nagging pain or like a sharp pain?
It was a pretty sharp pain.
Yeah, okay.
Anytime I'd throw, it was extremely painful, sometimes to the point of almost being sick to my stomach that it hurt so bad. So on day 3, that didn't last very long, I was at practice, and even it got to where hitting was difficult. And so I walked into coach's office, bawling my eyes out. And I said, I can't do this. I'm going to have to redshirt. So she supported my decision, and they all were, we're here for you. When surgery gets scheduled, let us know. And kind of went from there. So I walked out, I called my parents, told them what I had done, and they were happy because they didn't want to see me hurt anymore. And I, of course, I can't imagine, being a parent, your child going through that.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah. And you know what? When the day comes, the day comes. Yeah. So a month goes by, and I was supposed to have Tommy John surgery on February 22nd. And before that, of course, you have to do tons of PT so you can build up strength in your shoulders and your neck and things like that. And I got my COVID test pre-surgery 3 days before, and I was positive. So I was obviously going to have to push back my surgery. The 10 days goes by, or I don't even know if it was 10 or 14 at the time. Whichever one it was, it goes by. I really wasn't even that sick. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of a joke at this point. Like, this is going to push back my recovery. I'm already pushing it as is to start next year on time. So I was pretty stressed out at that point about that. About 2 weeks later, I was driving in the car. I remember exactly where I was in South Bend. And I'm pulling up to a stoplight, and I feel a bump on my neck. And I'm thinking, are those my lymph nodes? And I'm interested in healthcare, so like I'm not an idiot.
Right.
I was thinking, oh, it's just got to be the COVID. Maybe it has something to do with that since I'd never had it before. I'm not too concerned. And about a week later, I start bleeding. I'm bleeding from my gums. I have bruises all over the place, nosebleeds pretty much constantly all day long, and I have no idea what's going on. I go see my doctor. My doctor's kind of confused too. And so we kind of just chalk it up to, let's see what happens in a couple days. So about 4 days later, I wake up and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't feel right. So I head back to our doctor, and she's going to send me to the lab to get a CBC drawn. And I have no idea what to expect. And of course, what we all do when we're sick, we look it up on the internet. And that was the last thing I should have done.
Yep.
It's the worst thing ever. And about the time I did that, she gave me a call and she said, you need to go to the emergency room. You're internally bleeding. And I'm like, whoa. What? Nothing's happened to me. I haven't been in a car wreck. I haven't been injured. What do you mean? And she said, your platelet count is 3 and it's supposed to be at least 150.
Whoa.
So back to the internet I go. And I look up, my condition is called thrombocytopenia. And I look it up and it's indicative of leukemia. And I am freaking out. I have no idea what's going on. I'm crying because I think I have leukemia and I don't really know what to do. So my friends, we had just left campus like 15 minutes before that. So they drive me back to campus. I go to the ER. The resident is like, we really don't know how this happened. And of course, COVID's a new thing. So they hadn't seen much of, the secondary implications of COVID.
Right.
And I was kind of one of those cases. So I end up in the hospital for a few days, and turns out I do have immune thrombocytopenia purpura. And for pretty much a month, it was awful. Every Monday and Thursday, I would go for blood draws, and pretty much every single time I'd end up in the ER getting a platelet infusion, getting IVIG, dexamethasone, all of the things, and nothing is working. I keep relapsing. So one weekend, of course, you can't go to a doctor's office on the weekend. And so Monday morning, I knew that they were really low, so much so that they were actually 0. So not only were they low, they just didn't exist. I had to walk back across campus, and the doctor's telling me you need to walk very carefully. If you fall, you might die. And so it's just like a euphoric, even talking about it to you now is actually just like, what in the world was happening? And this is something that, many people don't experience. And, me being 20 and being a collegiate athlete, being at Notre Dame, my life should be wonderful. And it's just crumbling right in front of my face. So I end up going to the emergency room again, and I'm like, hey, my platelets are 0, and I feel fine. Like, I don't feel, there have been a few times I felt like I was going to pass out, but, I feel totally normal. I don't know what's happening, and I just walk in, and they immediately take me back. So I go back, I stay in the critical care unit for about 3 days, and a little bit of adversity in front of me is you can't leave here until you get your spleen removed. And of course, being a college kid, it's not that you're doing anything crazy, but you can get sick at any time. And I didn't think not having my spleen was the answer. So I kind of had to work around talking with my parents about that, had to work around talking to the doctor about that. And so my doctor, Dr. Pasquale, he saved my life, and he was such a genuine person. He always wanted me to research my medications and the treatments we're trying to do, and, not let me make the decision, but, kind of see what I was thinking and if I was on the right track. So I finally get taken care of, and they let me go. And I had been on prednisone for like a week. I'd gained 14 pounds in 8 days. And I mean, at this point, it's just like, okay, this is so crazy. There's so many treatment options, and not a one of them has worked. And I really felt like there was no solution, and that this was going to be the end of me. I didn't know how to feel. I didn't emotionally invest in others. I didn't invest in my parents because, of course, they were messes over it too. It just, I don't know. It's this crazy thing that, I played victim. I wanted people to feel sorry for me. And of course, softball was not even in my sights anymore. I thought, I'm done. There's no way that I'm going to be able to live properly. Or even if I could play softball, am I going to get hit with the ball and then bleed to death? Very emotional for me, even more so now than it was then, just because I didn't know how to handle it, take care of myself, and all of the things.
Holy shit. I don't even know where to go from here.
Yeah. There is a positive to it. So, we'll get there at some point. But yeah, I just think it's important for people to understand that, this was like the lowest of low for me.
I imagine it was.
Yeah. Being told that if I'd have gone to bed at night and wouldn't have come to the emergency room, that I would have died in my sleep. Thanks. That's something I didn't want to hear at the age of 20.
No, not at all. Holy jumping. It's like, so I guess when did things take the turn for the better?
They were very slow, but my doctor had recommended I look into this medication called Tavalisse. And at the time, Tavalisse was not FDA approved for thrombocytopenia purpura. So he said, we're taking a chance on it and we'll just see kind of how it goes. And I was like, honestly, at this point, like nothing that is supposed to help this is helping it. So let's take a chance. I'm ready to do it. And so he supported me. My parents supported me. It's an oral chemotherapy medication. I take it twice a day. It gets delivered to me overnight, once a month, and they're 150 milligrams. Of course, it takes time just because it's not it was a quick demise, but it was not a quick fix. So I took that medication for about 16 months in total. So even into the following year when I actually got back to playing. So I took it from April of 21 to July of 22. And I've actually been in remission since July of 22.
Oh.
So the medication, I mean, it was my saving grace, and now it is FDA approved for our condition. So
I was just going to ask that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very grateful for that. And I hope that I could have been the light for somebody else. It might not have been for me, and it was taking a chance, a scary chance.
Yeah.
But now that I'm a part of something that can help people, that it cures them and that, keeps them within range or even close up above 100 out of the single digits, I'm glad that I could be a part of that and that I took a chance on it and was open to the possibility that I could be healed with this medication.
Wow. That's crazy, Joley. Like I didn't know it was that extent. Like I knew about what happened, but I did not know that it was that extensive. Wow. That is crazy. That's crazy. So how special was it for you to get back on the field in 2022?
Oh, well, and I was going to say in the time period that I'm taking this medication, I actually finally had Tommy John. So it was like bang, bang, like I'm getting back into it. And for thrombocytopenia, your platelets need to be above 50. And I think on the day that I had surgery that they were maybe like 51. And I had to wait like an extra week because they were low the week before and we had to push it back. So there was just so many combinations of things. And then after going through all that and healing from surgery and then stepping back out on the field, I mean, it wasn't a clear-cut, wonderful experience. It was hard. But, I was just glad that I could finally be out there doing the thing that I love. Oh. Even at the time, it was hard to love it because I was still going through so many challenges. But, I'm glad that we went through all that adversity because then I wouldn't be where I am and get to experience everything that I got to experience with softball.
I imagine. It's so insane. So I guess, like, before we get on Texas, I guess, what were some of the special moments at Notre Dame, whether it was on or off the field for you?
I think the most special moments for me there was being off the field. It wasn't just necessarily, the softball part of it, but I mean, I did struggle. I struggled with finding love for the game, and I really had to work hard to even fight for a starting position the first year I came back. So I was a junior academically, but a freshman athletically, and, still fighting for time because I thought, I feel like I've earned this, but, it was a struggle between me and the coach. And of course, there's some things that transpired and it didn't seem like it was right for me. But at the time, I kind of had to battle through it and I had a goal in front of me. And then of course, after my junior year, I finally found the love for softball again. But in the midst of all that, my teammates, my friends at Notre Dame, they really just made every moment special. No matter how hard it was, they were there to support me. And there's so many weddings coming up, and it's just mostly us. It's like our whole friend group there, and so they're very special. We actually went back to South Bend for the USC game this fall. And there were 17 of us there. Wow. And I think that that's just hard to find, such a special group. And they're all successful individuals. And they're so kind, they're so caring. And, if they can help you with anything, they will. So being a part of those people and being a part of their journey and then being a part of mine, I'm very blessed. I love them all so much. And I hope that they understand that the rest of the time that we're friends.
That's awesome. So what led to the transfer to Texas?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be very blunt about this. And, I think a lot of people experience this. So I want to be a light to somebody else if they hear this. And I'm an advocate for them. I didn't feel like Notre Dame was the place for me in terms of softball. I wanted more when it came to being on a winning team. I wanted more when it came to direction and coaching. And I honestly felt like, I had a hard time getting on the field. And to me, it seemed unfair. And it wasn't necessarily like I wasn't working hard unfair. It was, I'm working really hard. My stats are there to prove it. And it's unfair. Mm-hmm. So, I didn't feel like that Notre Dame was the place for me anymore. But you get roped into getting that degree. And I had another year to do that. And I thought, you know what? That's what I'm going to focus on my degree. But I walked out of that office after the exit meeting and I called my parents and I said, I'm getting my degree and I'm going to Texas. And they're both kind of like, what? Like, that's really specific, but what? And my eyes were set. And I've told this too, where we had played them at Clearwater that year and we almost run-rolled them in like no way, shape, or form. So we had even been close, let alone almost run-roll Texas. But they ended up in the Champ Series that year. And I adored watching that year. I was thinking about this yesterday and I laughed. Sophia is my best friend and I'm so grateful to have her in my life. I talk to her nearly every day and that's the year that she's a freshman and she pitched against Arkansas in that game 3 and she just shut them down. And I remember being on the couch watching her and I was like, man, like she's just got this fire. And then turns out she's this cute little bubbly, pink, flowery girl. And she's, just an angel. She's my best friend, but never in a million years that I think that girl would be the person that's going to stand beside me the rest of my life. But I remember watching that team and I thought they fought for something. Coach White is not going to let them back down. And I want to be a part of that. So from that day forward, I was going to work extra. I was going to get my degree and I was going to Texas. When the time came, I was getting that degree and I was out of there as fast as I could get out of there.
So that's pretty awesome, actually.
Thanks.
You're like, screw that. I'm like, I'm going to a winner.
I was determined that I was going to go to Texas.
So did they reach out to you? Like, how did that work? Because you had to enter the portal, obviously. And
Yeah. So I had told my travel coach, Coach Kev, ahead of time, like, hey, I want to leave, but, I know you can't really do anything right now. So when the time comes, we'll get there. I said, but as soon as the portal opens, you bet I'm going to be in there. And so seniors normally don't have exit meetings with the coaches unless they ask for them. And so I had, they had asked me to stay at this point to get a master's degree. And I thought, ain't no way I'm staying here, which even academically, it didn't make sense for me. Most of the master's programs there are business and, I didn't think like a management master's was going to help me. And it's nothing against Notre Dame. They're known for Mendoza. And so it academically did not make sense for me. But then athletically, there was no way I was staying either. So I walk into the office and, she's bubbly. Everybody's bubbly. And they're like, okay, so are we staying? And I was like, absolutely not. I am so busting out of here after this meeting. And, at first it was kind of a pushback from coach. And it wasn't like she was begging me to stay, but I could just tell that like there was some animosity going on,
right.
Which it should have been clear as day for over a year at this point. But the rest of the staff was extremely supportive and they said, okay, well, what are we wearing? I said, burnt orange. You better see me at the World Series next year. And they hugged me and, they were so supportive. Even throughout winning the national championship, I kept in contact with all of them. If we went to the World Series, if we won an awesome game, they always would text me and just say, hey, love you. We're so proud of you and so glad that you're happy and where you belong. So, it's never too late. It's not too late for you to just say, hey, I'm not in a place where I deserve to be. I deserve to be somewhere where everybody was bought in on winning and everybody wanted to be better than the other team and be better than each other, fight for a spot, fight for each other. So I'm just glad that some of the staff at Notre Dame recognized that this was the best for me. And that's why they were happy for me. Yeah. And then, of course, I walked out smiling ear to ear and I walked straight to compliance and put my name in the portal. And I got a phone call from Coach White. I believe it was 12 minutes later. And I talked to Singh the same exact day. So I kind of figured this was going to be, that was my place. They want me. I want them. I want to be there. It was pretty smooth going from there after that.
So did you already have the relationship with Singh prior to this?
I actually did not know a thing about Steve Singleton before I talked to him on the phone that day, which is hilarious. Like, it's so funny. I was like, who is this guy? Like, I know Coach White, obviously. I remember watching him when he was at Oregon when I was a kid, and I thought, hey, it'd be really cool to play for that guy one day. And then they're Singh, and I'm just like, I don't know who this dude is, So it's actually hilarious. I was actually at the nail salon when he called me that day, and I had to step outside with the foils on my fingers. and say like, hey, I'm getting my nails done.
That's
so like
amazing.
if I got to go, like I got to go. And he laughed, at the time, Chelsea was his girlfriend still. And he's like, my girlfriend's the same way. She's always got to get her nails done. So I was like, okay, like we're going to vibe because he gets it.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. That's awesome. So what, I mean, that the coach, or when Whitey, I call him Whitey because he's part of our men's game. I feel like,
I know.
So I get like when Coach White, what was your first contact with him like? I mean, he's such a great dude, man.
I was so nervous.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
This guy's a legend. Like I'm dying to play for him. I want to be a part of his program. And he's so kind. Like I'm throwing this out there. Contrary to popular belief, guys, Coach White is a wonderful human being. He's 100%. So silly. He's only serious when it comes to softball. When it's outside of softball, like he's so goofy and he wants to know what's going on, what's the drama. He wants to know everything. Like he genuinely is such a kind person. He's a teddy bear. I love Coach White so much. But like, of course, talking to him at first, I'm like, am I going to say something stupid? Am I, going to stutter? And like, I want him to know that this is the place I want to be, but without being too like, I'm only going to go here, because that's kind of how the talk is, where you want to act like there's competition. There really wasn't competition. I was dying to go there, but I was dying because I had to talk to him on the phone. Yeah. So but it ended up going really well. And then of course he told me that Singh was going to call me, and then Singh called me, and kind of from there, the rest is history. Yeah. See, I think him still having, that slight New Zealand accent kind of puts people at ease. You know what I mean? Like yes. It's like just anything, the accent. It's just like, oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're good. You're good. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I guess, you go there, man, you opened up pretty good on that opening weekend with them, 2 for 2 that first game, and with a double. I mean, that had, getting off on the right foot, that had to help. I was going to say, felt like I was finally in place. Yeah. Yeah. That's a big thing when you're around a team that's, all got that goal, same goal, like it's World Series or bust. That definitely has to help. Yeah, I mean, that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be a part of that type of team. And of course, being around Reese and Tegan and Mia and Ashton, everybody is super, we're competitive pretty much at everything. But what's really funny is like practices were so unserious. So I don't know what the unserious thing is with everybody. We just acted like, everything in our life was, do or die. But really, like, it was so fun. And then finally just getting to be on the field with them and seeing how everybody works together and learning how to be a better teammate for them. That was the most fun part. And then, of course, doing it in California the first weekend, I feel like that's like a ceremonial thing. Yeah. If you're going to play with a team, you start in California. Yeah. Well, that's where the weather's best in February. So absolutely. It's so nice there. Yeah. Definitely. So, I mean, that first season, you make the World Series. How different was that atmosphere compared to anything else you've played at this point? Well, I mean, if we're talking, 6U ball and Rosebud to that. A little different. We're doing amazing. Yeah. Okay. I will say this. We played in the Big 12 tournament there before. Right. And so it was like, okay, I kind of get a vibe for it, but there's pretty much nobody here. So the World Series, was lights out, totally different. And obviously, sorry, it is a home advantage for OU because they're freaking everywhere. There's so many Sooners there. It is absolutely insane. But I think for me, you just have to totally block that out. And then the first year, it's kind of a trial and error where it's like, okay, I'm going to try this. And it doesn't work. And of course I didn't play defense, after the first super regional game that year. So I didn't even go out on the field except to hit, and play catch in the outfield. Now training back to this past June and I'm playing first base, it is overwhelming. Yeah. But I mean, I think I had a better sense of how I was going to handle my emotions, even though I was adding that extra bit of pressure where I'm actually out on the field in sight of all these people. And I could literally see all of them, no matter what color they were wearing. There's just 14,000 people around you. Yeah. And it's kind of like, man, I'm on TV also. This isn't just these 14,000 people. This is a ton of people. 2 million. So yeah, exactly. So it is a totally different feeling, but it is everything that I worked for, like if I didn't want to be a part of that, I would have just been done after I got done at Indy. Right. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to hang them up. But I said, nope, I'm going to go win a national championship and you can watch it on the TV.
Yeah. So I guess did losing that finals just fuel the fire more going into last year?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think especially like that team, there was a different vibe. We just weren't as cohesive as this last year's team. But I knew that, everybody was trying to win. So I knew that when we came back this past year that we were not going to let that happen again. That feeling was just awful. It was almost gross. Like it's just, you make it this far. And of course we really didn't play that competitively, both of those games. So it's just kind of like, that doesn't even showcase who we are. So we're leaving this bad taste in our mouth and, you're a representation of the last time you played, and we played terrible. So I think coming back last August, we were just like, this is the time. If we're going to do it, this is the best version of ourselves. I even think like talent wise, we probably weren't. I mean, we laugh because we're like notoriously probably the worst team talent wise that Coach White's had in 15 years. And, like it's just a giggle thing because it's like we found a way how to do it because we cared so much for each other. And we didn't want to feel that badly about the same thing 2 years in a row. Like what did you fix? So the only way we could fix it is by winning. And those last like 3 weeks after the A&M beat down, they were so special. That's just, it had to be at that point. We had a lot of fight left in us. And, when someone recognizes that, I stood up and I said, hey, I came here because you guys fought after we run ruled you. We shouldn't even have been in the same ballpark. Let's go back and let's do it right now.
Man, I got goosebumps. That's crazy. That's unreal. Like unreal. And it's funny, I say it on here all the time. Like it's crazy how far team chemistry can take it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like it's unreal. Like you said, it wasn't the best team Coach White's ever had there, but guess what?
No,
you got the job done.
Right.
Now, I'd be remiss if I don't bring up that opening game against Florida. I mean, sure. Not a bad start to the tournament. What?
Yeah. Not at all, okay. I must say.
So your first at bat there, were you waiting for Rockroth to bring that inside pitch to you? Because you absolutely teed off on that.
Yep. That's exactly what I was looking for. And I'll give kudos to Singh because Singh genuinely is probably the smartest coach I've ever been around. Not even played against, coached for me, he genuinely is the smartest coach I've ever met. And he always harped on us. He's like, go watch film. What do they do? And I'm thinking, okay, Rothrock's going to throw me, that bullet spin inside high. So my hands are going to stay in and I'm going to be early and I'm going to drive it to left center field. And that's exactly what I did. And then of course, now you're definitely not getting anything inside. So now I'm waiting for outside and I got it and I teed off on that one too.
Such a smart hitter.
I know.
Such a smart hitter.
What's so funny too is people always ask me what do you guys do? And I'm like, we watch film and we just know tendencies. It's not trivial that if you get an inside pitch and you smoke it 250 that you're definitely not going to get that again. I don't understand how we don't pick up on tendencies and people are just, they're like, you are so smart. I'm really not. I'm just looking and I'm guessing that I'm not getting the same pitch. So I'm looking for something different and I'm going to adjust based on what I think I'm going to get.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you got to do. That you got to look that's what, even in the men's game, we say it, look for that one pitcher, the one pitch that you're looking for, you're going to get it because if you know the pitcher, you're going to get it, one or two times in your at bat. So
absolutely
look for it. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys went on to have a run, you get to Texas Tech, win the first one, lose the second one. You're going into game 3. I mean, what was the nerves like going into that game 3 and what was the message from Coach White?
I think the most special thing about that game was, I woke up that day and I knew it was going to be my last, but I said to myself, I'm going to give it my all, but how can I be a light to everybody else? Because obviously you can't do it by yourself. And we're gonna see Nyjah for the third time in a row. I really wasn't too concerned that we were going to tee off. And by we, I mean excluding me because I didn't tee off on her the whole series. But, you know, sometimes it happens. It's okay. But my teammates, you know, we just, that whole day, you know, even the whole staff was just saying, you guys have fought, you're in the spot you wanted to be, and you're not going to let this be a repeat of last year. So go out there and do it for each other. Don't let it be this is my last game, I need to stress, or I want to do it for the seniors, not being concerned with what you're supposed to, like, there were so many emotions going on, but I think that was just a dogfight. It was like, honestly, we don't have anything to lose. I mean, everybody's, and this is not a diss at Nyjah whatsoever, because she deserves every bit of that $1 million.
Yep.
It was just, the whole week was just about Nyjah. And so talk about Texas was our thing for that day. It's on our ring. It's kind of what we went with for the last few hours. And so it's like, you know what, we're going to be in a position to where we can make a statement right now. Are we going to be the first Texas softball national champion team, or are we going to let the noise get to us? Because that's just, I mean, everything was the noise. People were rooting for Nyjah. People were rooting against us just because they don't like Texas. And, you know, we were in a position like, what are you going to do about it? And we weren't going to get slapped in the mouth. We were going to go out there. We're going to do it for each other. And I mean, of course, least of all, have fun doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so I guess my next question is, I mean, ground ball to short, you get to catch the final out, you win the national title. First, we'll get into the, you know, what it meant to you, but I mean, did your mind flash back to 2021 at all?
At first, no, I blacked out the whole play. Like,
of course, it makes sense.
I can't even tell you, like, I remember the initial, like, contact. And then after that, I have no idea what happened. I have no clue. I know I ran to Tegan, but that's because I've seen it on film. But like Leanne throwing the ball, no clue. Her catching it, no idea. Me stepping up, no clue. So that moment, like, it's just, you're so in it, but at the same time, you're like, I have no idea what's going on. So it's actually like a surreal moment.
Crazy.
And, you know, coming out on the other side of even the year before, where it's like, hey, we get to hoist up the trophy. We get to, you know, I think they had played How Do You Like Me Now the year before. And I was like, someone cue it up right now. Like, I need some Toby in my life.
Yeah.
I'm adding him to my list of people at dinner. I need Toby.
Yes. That makes sense.
So, you know, I'm like, we're about to do this thing. And I mean, of course, the game was kind of a runaway. You know, I mean, we're up by 6 pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, at least the whole game, you know, and then they catch up a little bit, but we're up at least 6. And so it's kind of a runaway. They'd have to have an awesome inning. But at the same time, you know, I didn't think about that moment until people started interviewing me about it after. And of course, that was kind of a hot topic of the week. You know, every time I'd ask to someone, you know, from the news or from magazine or whoever, they were asking me about that. And I was like, you know what? I've come to terms with it. And you know, it's a part of who I am. It's a part of why I'm here. And I think that that's, you know, the definition of why adversity is something I accept in my life and something that I welcome, because I went through such a dark time, and any obstacle in front of me from now on probably is nowhere near as bad as that was. So all of the injuries that I had after that, and, you know, if we had a team scuffle about something or I was stressed because I wasn't playing well, none of that really mattered to me anymore. I was more focused on how can I enjoy this moment with my teammates. And, you know, of course, once I came to after that, and it was so enjoyable, you know, just talking to everybody, hugging, taking pictures with my family, with my teammates. Yeah, it's really special, you know, kind of once you realize what's going on around you after the big moment.
I bet. So how crazy was the celebration?
Oh, it was so fun. And I hate to bring this up on Sing's behalf, but there was this video of him talking about we going to the club. And, you know, so we did go to the club, and it was so fun. I mean, Sing wasn't there, obviously. Yeah. But, you know, as a team, like, we just enjoyed being out that night, and we stayed up pretty late, just like spending that time, because we were leaving at 7 a.m. the next morning. And then after that, it's like, am I going to see these people ever again? So it was our last few moments as a team. And obviously it was extremely special. So
I bet it was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Unreal. So I guess going forward, what's the future hold for you, Joley?
So the last several months since I've been home, I've been giving lessons because I'm super passionate about the game, probably more now than I ever have been, which obviously if I could go back, I would channel that to me. But doing a little bit of motivational speaking. I'm working with Eric Thompson in Lift Leadership. We work with some other softball teams at the moment, Ohio State, Boise State, trying to infiltrate Cal so I can get Sing to work with me. but yeah, it's just, how can I be a light to other people now that I'm removed from it? And I do some mentoring, and, I'm finding ways to do tons of camps, be a part of tournaments and things like that. I want to grow the game in Arkansas itself. And I've talked about before, these kids, they want to play at Arkansas, they want to play at Texas, how can I help them do that? So coaching kind of the way I was coached growing up. Most of us grow up in Rosebud. The majority of my kids I give lessons to are from Rosebud. And so, I tell them the truth, like, hey, if this is what you want to do, well, we're going to do it how I did it. So I love jumping in to play competitions with them. I'll hit off the tee. If we're going to hit a distance contest, which obviously I win every time, but it gives them a motivation of like, hey, if Joley can hit the ball that far off the tee, then I can do that. And of course, living out in the middle of nowhere, we have some 10 acres, and we just go out there and put the tee out there and just let them hit out to the field. But being someone who they trust, and, I'm not their friend, but I do kind of cultivate that environment so that, they ask the questions. If they're struggling with something, they tell me about it and how can I help them? And, having the parents super involved, and they'll always ask me, like, do you want me in here? Yeah, you need to be a part of this because I'm not going to be there all the time. You inspire your kids by the way that you raise them, by the way that you treat softball in their world. So, this is a group effort, and just trying to be somebody that people, look up to when it comes to softball. And then, of course, just being a good person as well. I want to help them, grow as an individual, and invite them to do community service with me. Invite them to do a mentoring session with me. Just do things that are, not talked about a lot, that are extremely important to developing an athlete and the person that they become after the softball's over.
Love it. That's so fantastic, Joley. That's awesome. Love to hear that.
Thanks.
Little thing we like to end the podcast with. I call it player association. I'm going to throw out some names to you. You're going to know them. Don't worry.
Okay. Thank goodness.
Imagine if I just throw out random people, and that'd be actually hilarious. Anyway, if just touch on what they've meant to your career. If you have a funny story, just let it fly. First one I have up here is Karina Gaskins.
Funny that I brought her up earlier.
I know. You said that. I was like, oh, she's on the list.
Karina she's one of those people that, she's going to tell me that she's a little bit harsh sometimes, but, sometimes I needed it. She would check on me every morning when I was sick, to make sure I was okay, make sure I was awake. And, we ate many dinners together. We spent tons of time. We actually were randomly placed in a room beside each other. My roommate had transferred, and of course at Notre Dame freshman year is like random roommate, and we ended up in the room right beside each other, which I think is fate, and she thinks it's hilarious. But so Karina's she's one of those people that I know I've always, got in my corner. And even if she's seriously the person, like, even if I don't talk to her for a year, I know I could call her and she's going to do what she can for me. And if she hears this, she's going to throw up that I said all of that. But I know she loves me and she knows I love her. So I'm very grateful to have her a part of my life.
Right on. Next up, Brooke Marquez.
Oh, Brooke came up with Tonk Tonk.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. Brooke is she's a person, like, I'm not one to idolize, but I idolize Brooke a lot. She's so genuine. She's very smart. She's very logical. If I need advice, I ask Brooke. I was texting Brooke yesterday about, something silly and, just bringing up memories. And she's actually in med school right now. And so, just anytime she hears something, I'm like, what does this mean? And then she'll tell me. But Brooke got me through school, literally and figuratively. Helped me with my homework assignments, made sure that, I was being accountable when it came to my homework assignments, because we were in a bunch of the same classes. And, her family, they came and watched me play. And Cal, the first year that I got to Texas, they were there the first weekend. So her family is extremely special, and she's a very special person to me.
Nice. Next up, Tegan Cavan.
Oh, that's my little baby. Obviously, her family means so much to me. Just, she was my roommate the last year I was at Texas, and she's right across the hall, and she'd always come in my room and we'd just be chatting about, silly things. And she's a little nice sometimes. So I'm like, hey dude, like, you need to tighten up, and, you need to speak your mind. And sometimes I think she's a little bit in La La Land, but she always has the best of intentions, and she's a rock star. She's badass. And, you know, I'm so grateful for her. She's the little gentle person I wish I could have been at some point. And then, obviously, you know, having, you know, Miney in my corner too. Miney's just a light. And if it weren't for Tegan, it wouldn't be for Miney. So, yeah, Tegan's she's my little sunshine. And, I love watching her rock it every single game.
Absolutely. Yeah. Next up, Steve Singleton.
Dude, at first I hated that dude. No, I'm kidding. I kind of laugh sometimes about him because, you know, there'd be times where him and I would get into it. We're both very hot-headed. And, you know, last year against A&M, like, he kind of had to get onto me, and I kind of came back at him. But he knows it's because we both care so much about the game and about winning. And, you know, I saw him at the NFCA conference, and it's the first time I had seen him since he went to Cal, and I just know he's happy there. And I want him to do the most amazing thing at Cal. Like, I want to see him at the World Series this year. I want, you know, I'm even going up to South Bend when they play them in about a month. And I'm like, you know what? Like, yeah, I'm going to see all my old teammates, but like, Sing's going to be there. And so just to see him flourish, I always said he deserved to be in a head coaching position. And I'm really happy for him. And, you know, he's somebody that I know wants to see me succeed, you know, always keeping up with me, checking in on me after surgery. And like, he's just so kind. And he really is. I look up to him a lot as a coach too. I use a lot of his coaching tactics when it comes to hitting and, you know, strategy and things like that, because I've never seen anything like it. But now I don't see the game differently. And so he's very special to me. Him, Chelsea, the boys, like, they're all such special human beings for the game.
Awesome. Last, certainly not least, Sophia Simpson.
Yeah. I gave the spiel earlier, like, genuinely my best friend. She's somebody I needed. And she's that one person that, you know, she's very lighthearted and she's serious, but sometimes I tell her, like, hey, Sophia, like, you could be a little bit, you know, stronger when someone's trying to, you know, push you over or mess with you. And I'll always stand up for her. But, you know, we've had times, she's one of the only people that can soften me up. I mean, we've, you know, had fights about softball and other stupid stuff, or I said something I shouldn't have said, and I have a soft spot for her. She's probably one of the only people I have a soft spot for. And, you know, she's so wonderful, and she's so genuine, so kind. And, you know, she's going to be my maid of honor. I hope my two, like, longtime best friends don't take offense to that, but it's just a given. And I mean, I love her whole family. Her parents are, you know, they'd always take care of me if my parents weren't in town, or we'd always, you know, go out to eat if we were traveling somewhere. And I love her little brother, Dalton, like he's my own. But their family's so special. And Sophia is just, I can't even say enough about her. I love her so much, and I hope she hears this so that she is reminded that I love her that much.
Oh, she better hear this.
I know, right? I'm going to have to send it to her at this time. You need to watch it.
Exactly. Well, listen, Joley, this has been absolutely phenomenal. Like, I'm so happy, you know, you took time out of your schedule to come on and talk to us. It's been long overdue. You got a big concert coming up tonight, so have fun at Eric Church. I'm excited. It's going to be awesome. But no, thanks again for coming on. This has been awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate you reaching out to me, and, you know, I just continuing the love for the game, men's and women's. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Love it. Take care.
Thanks.
Yeah. We outside the chute. Yeah. Come on. Yo, we outside the chute where the stories ignite. Fast pitch vibes under stadium lights. From the East Coast swing to the West Coast truth. We talk legends, rookies, and the wisdom of youth. Mic check 1, 2. Welcome to the zone where the podcast pops like a bat off the dome. Framer and Hopi, yeah, they keep it legit. Dropping knowledge every week, never missing a hit. From East Hands to Cali, they repping the sport. With guests who bring heat like a fastball court. Coaches, players, and fans in the mix. Talking hustle hard and championship tricks. Outside the chute, where the stories unfold. Diamonds and dreams, silver and gold. Every pitch, every play, every tale they salute. We living that life outside the chute. Outside the chute, where the stories unfold. Diamonds and dreams, silver and gold. Every pitch, every play, every tale they salute. We living that life outside the chute. It's more than a a game, it's a culture of vibe, where the grind meets glory and the spirits collide. They break it all down from the gear to the grind, with laughs, real talk, and a powerful mind. You want insight? They got it on lock, from the dugout drama to the post-game shock. It's softball soul with a podcast beat, where the field meets the mic. Now that's elite. So if you love the game, this the place to be. Tune in, turn up, let the stories run free. Outside the chute, yeah, they changing the game. One episode at a time, building that fame. Outside the chute, where the stories unfold.